Yo, what's up guys? Today we are reacting to this video, which was a very interesting recommendation because we have watched Ian Tongi in the American Idol 2023, and his story was that he was priced out of paradise. He couldn't afford to live in Hawaii anymore, and that's where this video comes in. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if this is the situation, if this is accurate, if this is false. If you're watching from Hawaii, aloha everyone, and mahalo for watching. Let's go, guys.
I've never been homeless before. This is my first time. Sometimes I feel no matter how hard you try, there's always a barrier here in Hawaii.
Native Hawaiians are being priced out of Hawaii.
No way could I afford to even live here,
Wow.
just me alone. And that's the sad part of it. We can't afford to be here.
Hawaii is the most expensive state to live in the US, and out-of-state buyers continue to turn housing units into vacation rentals or second homes. As
I thought California was the most expensive, because I've seen a bunch load of videos from California. Lots of people leaving California because of the high taxes and high rent and everything, like really high in California. And you're telling me that Hawaii has more than that? Although I know Hawaii is paradise, and it's like the dream place for people to go, and it's like the dream resort area. But still, I didn't know that the living costs were that high. I thought it was just like a cost for the tourists. You know what I mean? Because in fact, there are so many people that there are so many countries rather that charge the tourist price. Do you know, like if you go to Europe, there's like a local price and there's a tourist price. Like they have a separate menu. Anyways,
rentals or second homes. As tourists flock to the state's resorts, golf courses, and beaches, local residents are facing a housing affordability crisis.
They
wow.
want $1 million for places. This is Maui. It's not like you can drive to another island.
Rent is also increasing, and salaries are not keeping up with the rising cost of living. Gentrification isn't new, but for Native Hawaiians, being priced out can mean being forced to move off-island entirely, thousands of miles away from their ancestral lands.
This is our land. It was stolen from us in 1893. We're the indigenous peoples that belong here, yet we can't even afford to be here.
Bro, and Hawaii is so far from the United States, isn't it? Like Hawaii is like really distant. I don't know, is it closer to New Zealand than to the United States? Maybe, I have no idea. But it's really sad to see that they are so far, but yet you're still feeling the burden of gentrification, which means like gentrification, if you guys don't know, is basically when they like when things get so expensive. Normally governments do that. They raise the prices and everything so that they can push out the less fortunate, and they can build and bring a higher class to that area. Basically that's what it means. Don't quote me on that. I'm just giving you like an overview of what that means. You can correct me if I'm wrong though. Who can afford to live in Hawaii? Maui.
This is Maui, homeland of the Kanaka Maoli, who were branded Native Hawaiians during colonization. On one side of the island, tens of thousands of tourists are concentrated into condos and high-end hotels. On the other side, Jessica Lau is living in her car, partly because she couldn't afford her rent.
I mean, I have family that offered me to stay with them, but they're on hot housing, and I'm not trying to get anybody to lose their home because of me. Yeah.
You're not allowed
But I
to?
like it here. This is where my mom's scattered.
She uses the facilities at the boat harbor to shower and get ready for work.
My dad got me to be a member here, so I use the restroom here. And if I wanted to use, they have a gas stove in the inside that they say I can use. So I either use their hose, or I bring my hose here.
Jessica worked as a tour bus guide and operator for over 4 years, but long days on jungle roads meant she often couldn't use the bathroom for hours at a time. To prevent more serious bladder and kidney issues, she quit. She now works at a temp agency.
This is what it's like to be unsheltered in Hawaii.
See, many people have the wrong idea of the homeless. Some people think that, homeless people are there because of some type of addiction, they're there because of some type of laziness, so they don't want to get a job. Some people have that twisted mentality, but this is a clear example that here's a hardworking woman, but she still can't earn enough because she doesn't have anyone else. Like, she has to pay for herself, you know. It is quite sad. In fact, I live in London, and here the rent is around like 1,200 if you want to have like your own house, your own flat, and that's on the cheap side. Lower than 1,200 you can get a room, lived in shared housing, but if you want a place for yourself, I think 1,200 is the minimum that you'll find. And if it's central London, don't even think about it. And at the same time, the average salary is around 1,500, 1,600. So you can imagine that after paying your rent, you still have, of course, council tax, you still have a lot of other things to pay. So not a lot of money is left. So some people would rather pay for food, buy food, pay their bills, not get into debt, instead of like paying a house, if that makes sense. And then that's how some people get, you know, kicked out of their house, because people would naturally prefer having a meal, a hot shower, than, you know, before paying their rent. But then again, I'm not saying this is her case. I'm just saying that she's very hardworking, and yet she's in this situation, and that's really, really sad. And that, you know, begs the question: doesn't the government help? Like, I don't know what the, you know, the whole thing. I don't know what the whole the what is the word I'm looking for? The terms and conditions. I don't know if that's the right word. Prerequisites. I think that's the word. I don't know. Like, how do you go about getting the government involved? Because she talked about HUD housing. So I think that's probably something that the government does to help. So I don't know. But anyways, let's keep watching.
But it would be a matter of time. You mean? To come up with first month, last month, and deposit. With the pandemic and the pay rate down, right now it's hard. I have to be at work at 5. I get off at 1:30, and then I would go to another job in the evening.
Wow.
Jessica ran out of money, so she moved into her car to avoid an eviction on her record. Even without Jessica's obstacles, an average salary in tourism isn't enough to afford rent on a 2-bedroom apartment. So now Jessica parks with a few other unhoused individuals at the harbor. From where she sleeps, she can see where she used to live.
Here, I used to live here.
That is so sad.
$14.50 for a 2-bedroom. Then the owner decided to sell, so then I moved to the next building, which the rent came up to $1,600.
Hawaii has one of the highest rates of homelessness in the U.S. While the government sponsors programs like shelters and housing subsidies, relief is often temporary, with waitlists up to 5 years. And in general, there just aren't enough permanent affordable housing units. Short-term solutions that exist elsewhere in the States aren't available in Maui.
California, you can stay at a motel and pay $46 a night and not have to be homeless.
Here in Maui, they don't have no motels or anything. They only have hotels here.
And those hotels can cost on average $500 per night.
What?
The U.S. government took control.
Yo, I was thinking, you know, maybe one day I can go visit Hawaii, but bro, at $500 a night, I'm gonna have to keep dreaming, man.
Of the Hawaiian Islands in 1898. The majority of Kanaka Maoli protested the move as illegal. The U.S. never provided them reservation land, but they did sponsor a program called Hawaiian Homelands, which is meant to provide land for them to lease. There's currently a backlog of 28,000 applicants on the waitlist. Many applicants, like Carolee Kamakona, have been waiting for decades.
You'll see this where it lists as of December 2020, the different islands. You can see the Maui wait list here. I went on the wait list in 2002. This is 2021, so 19 years I've been on Maui's wait list.
An average price for a home in Maui hit a record $1.1 million this summer. Carol,
Are you guys kidding me? I mean, like, Hawaii doesn't have like a huge population. You're still waiting 19 years on a list? That is insane, bro.
Lee would like to buy a home, but without government help, it would be impossible. She now lives with her elderly mother and adult son because none of them can afford rent on their own.
These homes can run about 850 and up to a mil. Not because of the houses and the way they look, because of the location of the houses.
I thought she was saying $850 per month as rent, but she was talking about 850,000 to buy it.
Is that affordable for a Kanaka Maoli? No. Not even if you're working 3 jobs with 2 incomes in the household. So that's why Kanaka Maoli have a lot of multi-generational homes where you have 2, 3, possibly even 4 generations living in one household, just so that we could survive and live here at home. My mom, she's 87. For me, I'm 64, and my son is 30. So 3 of us live here in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. No way could I afford to even live here, just me alone. My son, with what he makes in the tourism industry, wouldn't be able to rent a house.
Carol Lee has 7 children, and none of them are eligible to apply for Hawaiian homelands. Applicants need at least 50% Native Hawaiian blood quantum to qualify.
I have the 50%. My kids don't have 50% because of an interracial marriage. So they're less than 50. So I cannot give it to them, none of my kids.
Even if Carol Lee's name was called, the lease offered to her would only be temporary, with no pathway to actually own the land. The plots can be expensive, with homes on them that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, which she couldn't afford.
So I have to wait for them to give me a lot. When that happens in my lifetime, you think? Probably not. This probably means that my kids will never ever get a chance to buy a home here. Because once I die, once my mom dies, there is no more 50% blood quantum for my family. It's genocide. It's a way to get rid of the people.
6 out of 7 of Carol Lee's children already live on the mainland. But for Carol Lee, leaving is not an option.
Even my kids ask,
They shouldn't
"Mom,
have to
just
leave.
come already. You guys can live with us." I don't want it. I love my home here.
1 in 3 Kanaka Maoli households is at risk of homelessness. As the government works on long-term solutions, Jessica is still living in her car.
Lori Suhaku, Director of County Department of Housing and Human Concerns, said that some of the unsheltered are employed, but their income is insufficient to afford rent. It is true. Like, I don't have a problem paying rent or working, but to come up with first month and last month and deposit is hard for many of us guys, especially during this pandemic. I make half of what I used to make when I did tours. So anywhere between $13, $14, $15, that's what I'm making now versus the $24, $52 that I used to make back then.
Jessica also doesn't have any plans to leave. Despite her struggles at her old job, Jessica enjoyed being able to share her love for Maui as a tour guide. She hopes to find a way back to the industry while still protecting her health.
This mountain right here besides us is Haleakala Mountain, but that's the mountain I drove around for 4.5 years, 129 miles, and that's how you get around the island. To go, I look forward to going back to that occupation. In the meantime, I'll just take whatever needs to be taken so I can be able to stay above water and not have to suffer.
Wow. So this is the sad reality for many people living in Hawaii. Man. So it's really hard. So when you're priced out of paradise, you have 2 options. You can stay in your home, but, you know, live in a lower quality of life standard, or you can leave. How is that even an option, right? So when you see Iam Tongi saying that he was priced out of paradise, he, like, his father and his parents didn't have like an option. Like, how is leaving your home an option? That's not an option. So, man, it is really hard. So after you understand the stakes that Iam Tongi had in his American Idol journey, it was kind of like it makes it even more emotional. So it was kind of like a message saying, look, you know, whatever you're going through, you can still change your life, right? Basically, his life story, his journey is an inspiration, because he was priced out of paradise. He lost his father. He had failed once, and going into the competition, and still he overcame all of those. And there's also things in the background, because when you leave your home and when you go to a new country, I know this from experience, you have to start all over in your school. You have to make new friends. You have to start, you know, the academic year all from the beginning. And there are a lot of things, adaptation, you know, like adapting to a new neighborhood, friends, everything. So it's basically starting from scratch. So it makes it even more inspiring that he went as far as he did. So Iamtongi is more than an inspiration. And I hope, you know, the situation in Hawaii gets better. I know that there are many people who are having, like, they have a good life, but we're looking at both sides. We're looking at the side, both sides, you know, not only the good side. So thank you so much for this recommendation, and many of you have been very supportive and informative in the comments, letting me know about everything that happens in Hawaii, the good, the bad, the ugly. Because I mean, in my mind, I thought, you know, Hawaii is like such a great paradise, but then many of you saying there are many homeless people here, and this was a very interesting video to watch. And I do respect Hawaiians much more now, knowing that even though times are tough, you guys are still so happy, you know, and so friendly, so loving, so supportive. And I'm so really, really happy and really relieved that, you know, you guys got Iamtongi to represent you. And I hope I visit Hawaii one day. I really do. But I'm not going to pay $500 per night. I can't. I'm a teacher. I have a teacher's salary, bro. That's not even, I can't even, well, anyways, guys, I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys have any requests, you can request in the link that is pinned, and I'll see you. Take care. Bye-bye. Now you can get full access to exclusive content, special reactions to shows, series, anime, full movies, and even request a video of your choice. Just become a YouTube member or join Buy Me a Coffee today. Find out more, the link is in the description.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game.